The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
ESPN Jets insider Rich Cimini says there are two things Aaron Glenn must do to save his job. Is Rich right? We'll talk about that and more. Matt O'Leary joins the show. It is the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started.
We sitting here, we excited as hell.
Now it's time to get to work. Are you a happy guy?
Oh my goodness, let's go!
I haven't felt joy talking about the Jets in a long time. When they announced it, I went, yeah! Let's go! A new chapter for the Jets has started. Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are tasked with shaping the future of this franchise. Will they be the ones to finally get it right? We will be here for every step of the journey on the Jake Asman Show, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now. Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in, everybody. It is indeed the Jake Asman Show presented by PrizePicks. Big thank you to everyone who tuned in this past week and last week to all the extra radio shows I was hosting. Next week, I'm scheduled to be on Thursday and Friday in for Michael K. So until then, we'll be back to our usual 2 shows per day. Busy show. Excited to bring on Matt O'Leary in his weekly spot. Professor O'Leary, as we like to call him. Matt, how you doing?
Yeah, doing good. I'm a little sunburned. I was out at the Great South Bay Music Festival with my summer program class, but ready to hop on and talk some Jets football with you. It feels like it's been a little bit here, Jake.
That's right. I mean, it was great to see you in Atlantic City and hang out with so many Jet fans. By the way, I think the next time we do a big event down in AC at HQ2, we got to invite this guy to come out and hang with all the Jet fans.
You guys were critical. So where everything is so polished and so plastic with the NFL at times and just putting on a smiley face, you guys were on the broadcast partner of the New York Jets, and you would crush them after games, rightfully so. And I look now, and it's like you have your Badlands podcast. You had this big thing in Atlantic City that like Jake Asman and all these guys are at, and that was almost an extension of what you guys built.
Peter Schrager shouting out the event in AC during his podcast with Adam Shine last week. Great listeners sent me that yesterday, and I had no idea. So shout out to Schrags. We'll have to get him at the next big meetup.
That's awesome. I love that Triggs has been a big supporter. Like, I know he's into the Badlands guys with the Jake Asman mention, and love that. He's welcome anytime.
Peter Schrager, come on the pod, and we'll talk some Jets football. Before we get into today's Jet topic, I want to share with folks that we are, in fact, going to be broadcasting for the second straight year from the Marty Lyons Celebrity Golf Classic on Monday. So make sure you tune in. 1, we're going to raise some money for Marty's incredible foundation. And 2, we're going to be joined by a bunch of great Jet legends, including, of course, Marty, who hopped on with us last year from the event. So be listening Monday morning, our first show, because we are going to be ready to roll with Marty and a bunch of great Jets from the Celebrity Golf Classic at Old Westbury Golf and Country Club on Long Island this Monday. Matt, in terms of the Jets, training camp, of course, for the veterans is Tuesday. They must report. Rookies got to report tomorrow. A huge storyline all season long is going to be Aaron Glenn, and can he prove that after last year's disastrous first season, he's learned and could be a much better coach? So this was Rich Cimini, who I had on the radio show the other day, answering the question on what Aaron Glenn has to do if he's going to save his job and get the opportunity to be the Jet coach for a third season.
So let's ask it this way then. What does Aaron Glenn have to do to, without a doubt, be back for a third year and potentially be a part of an offseason where the Jets would have 3 first-round picks, and one of those picks could go to their quarterback they hope is their next franchise quarterback for a decade plus?
Well, he's got to do 2 things. Number 1, the team has to improve. I mean, and is that 6 wins? Is that 7 wins? I don't think anyone expects the Jets to go to the playoffs. But gosh, if they can't win at least 6 or 7 games, then something is wrong. So, and I think we'll be able to see that with our eyes. We'll know if they're competitive, if they're getting blown out every week like they were at the end of last year, then that's going to be obviously a red flag. I think we'll know if it's an improved team. Some of that will hinge on young player development. So that's number one. And Aaron Glenn just basically, and this is a general blanket statement, he has to convince ownership that he's the right guy to take this team into the next phase. And the next phase is what you just alluded to. They're going to have a new quarterback next year, probably a very high draft pick. It's going to have to be an offensive-oriented team with that particular player. And is Aaron Glenn, a defensive-minded coach, the right guy to lead this franchise into that next era? And if he can't absolutely convince ownership that he's the guy to do that, and by doing that, he has to show that the team is much improved, then they'll probably go in a different direction.
I think Rich nailed it, Matt, because to me, it's not just being better than last year. Last year was a disaster. You should be better than last year by accident. You won 3 games. I mean, the Jets, as bad as they've been, they very rarely lose that many games in a single season. They very rarely only have 3 or fewer wins. It just doesn't happen in the modern NFL. So I agree with Rich. I think it's a win total. How it looks is the defense fix. And then the last thing that Rich said there, like, Ken Glenn definitively convinced Jet ownership he's the right guy to oversee the development of a rookie quarterback, because we've seen in recent Jet history, they've had the worst coaches possible for their young quarterback. And if you don't have the right coaching for your young quarterback, they're not going to succeed. Sam Darnold is a Super Bowl champion now. That is all the evidence I need to know.
Yeah, and I'm sure you get this question a lot, and something that I get asked is, how many wins is it going to take for Aaron Glenn to come back next year? And I agree with what Rich was saying. I think a lot of it's going to be eye test. I don't know if there's like this hard line in the sand where if it's 7 or more, he's back, and if it's 6, then he's gone or whatever. I think a lot of it is going to be eye test and the context of those wins and losses, because same thing applies. Like, what if they're 1-10 and then they win 4 of their last 7 or whatever, like, or however it goes, to where it's like the Gase year in 2019 where they started out so slow and went like 6-2 in the back half of the season. That to me wouldn't be enough if they're beating up on backup quarterbacks and teams resting starters. Like, I think they need to be competitive throughout the entirety of the season. And I also don't want to see like the inverse of that in 2022, where they jumped out to a 7-4 start and end up finishing 7-10 and collapse at the end of the year. So I think for me, it's consistency through the season at that point, which would go a long way to him winning over, I think, not only ownership, but the fan base.
I think that's a great point. And the one thing we know Aaron Glenn is going to have direct control over is the defense. So if you look at the Jet defense last year, they were basically the worst in the league in so many categories. Again, they didn't have a single interception, and their head coach is a former defensive back who had 40-something picks in his NFL career. The defense needs to be fixed, not just better than last year. That's not saying anything. Last year, they were one of the worst Jet defenses we've ever seen. They need to go out there, and they need to completely flip the switch defensively, force turnovers, be the reason why they're winning some games. Again, people dismissed Robert Saleh, but Robert Saleh made it to his 4th year because in year 2 and year 3, despite having Zach Wilson and Tim Boyle and Trevor Siemian and all these quarterbacks who weren't very good, the Jet defense was elite, and it helped the Jets go 7-10 in those years. Like, Aaron Glenn, you're a defensive guy. You're the one who said play calling is your superpower. The path to him saving his job, a big part of it, I should say, is the Jet defense looking radically different for the better going forward.
Yeah, I mean, you look at these numbers, it's embarrassing. 31st in points per game, 25th in yards per game, dead last in passing touchdowns and total QBR against. And, they made a lot of changes to this defense. And I think the roster excuse is gone for Glenn, because, like, if we're being fair and like giving the full context of the season, what they were throwing out there the last 5 weeks of the year was an embarrassment. And a lot of that was on the defensive side of the ball with guys who, sorry to say, are practice squad level players. And, they went out and used the number 2 overall pick on David Bailey at edge, and they brought in a bunch of guys to fortify the defensive line. And Demario Davis is the veteran leader that they add, and they trade for Minka Fitzpatrick. So at every level of the defense, there has been radical change, significantly more depth added to this defense. If they're rocking these numbers again at the end of the year, something went catastrophically wrong. So I agree with you. I think, hopefully we're looking at the numbers at the end of the year and they're at least somewhere around middle of the pack. I don't know if it's fair to be like, all right, you got to go from a dead last defense to immediately top 10, but we need to see a big time improvement for them to have any chance to win some games this year.
Totally agree. And veteran Jet fan in the comment section made a great point as well. One of the things Saleh did well was that you saw guys clearly get better and you saw guys develop on that side of the ball. Bryce Huff was an afterthought. He was a UDFA that then turned out to be a prolific pass rusher that got paid in free agency. Quincy Williams was a waiver wire claim that the Jets turned into a first-team All-Pro linebacker. Like, you go down the line, the Jets had their best success with taking guys defensively and turning them into solid contributors or finding a role that suited them. Again, no one's telling you Robert Saleh was the perfect coach. He wasn't. But, like, these were the things that allowed us to dream, hey, if we got the quarterback combined with this defense, this team could be pretty good. That's how they were 6-3 in Saleh's second year, 7-4 before they collapsed the last 6 games of that year. Like, this is the type of stuff we need to see from Glenn, because I think we all agree Geno Smith could be fine, but we're not expecting him to carry the team. Like, we want to see real improvement while also understanding the Jets' ceiling is likely capped due to their quarterback being Geno Smith.
No, exactly. And I think that's a fair point to bring up. And with Saleh, his first year wasn't very good with defensively either. It took them a little bit. But you saw got like a bunch of UDFA guys, and even Michael Carter, who was a late round pick, ends up being a really good starter for you in the slot. If they get AZ Thomas going as a 3rd round pick, as a, I don't know, a number 1 corner, but just a okay or to good starting outside corner, I think that goes a long way. Obviously, D'Angelo Pon's a 2nd round pick, not exactly the same, but a similar style of player to Aaron Glenn. So if he's able to hit the ground running in this defense, maybe something with Malachi Moore too in that safety room competition. And I just look at some guys like that who were either late round draft picks. Juwan Briggs, if he takes another step in his development, kind of a forgotten guy in Cleveland, they bring him in. He was solid last year, but I think there's even more potential if some of these guys start to get unlocked. I think that goes a long way to Aaron Glenn proving his worth. And you could pin, okay, well, yes, our defense wasn't very good in year 1. We took a big step in year 2, and these 3 or 4 guys really took a step in their development and were big contributors for us.
If you're watching the show live, make sure you click the thumbs up button. That helps the channel continue to grow. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel as well. The Asmaniac weekly raffle is tomorrow, so today's your last day. You can enter for your chance to win any of our 5 prizes that we're raffling away. Today's daily raffle prize is a big one, folks. Garrett Wilson signed helmet. Enter for your chance to win. You could enter in a variety of ways. You could gift a membership to your fellow Asmaniac in the chat. You could send in a $10 super chat. You could send me a Venmo at Jake-Asman or a Zelle at asmanjake@gmail.com. All these ways to enter. We prefer you to gift a membership so the entire community benefits, but however you want to enter and support the show, we truly appreciate it. Here are the prizes that we're going to be giving away on the show tomorrow in the weekly raffle. Darrelle Revis signed, end zone pylon, Chad Pennington signed, Jets jersey, Breece Hall signed, Jets helmet, a Vinny Testaverde signed Jets jersey, and a Jets Legends jersey. You pick the player of your choosing between Mangold, Namath, Klecko, and so many other great all-time Jets. Matt, in terms of Geno Smith, when you think about the expectations for him, what comes to mind? Because it feels like everyone has a varying degree of opinion on what exactly we're going to see from Geno back as the Jet starter.
Yeah, like I don't think it's fair to be like he's got to be the 2022 Seattle version of himself. Like that just feels too lofty for me. Although there is talent on this roster, and you look at what he did last year with the Raiders, he had a really bad year. He wasn't very good, and he was part of the reason why they ended up with the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. But I think somewhere in between what he was last year and what he was in Seattle, maybe like quarterback 20 to 23, somewhere in that range again, which would be an improvement over what they had last year. But as you mentioned, I think the team ceiling is likely capped because of who their quarterback is. But can he start, 15 plus games this year, throw for 35 to 3,800 yards and 25 touchdowns and maybe like 12 picks? He's always going to have a high completion percentage. And, I think he can play enough or well enough with the talent around him where the Jets will be in these games. So yeah, I just don't completely bottom out is my expectation for him. Again, somewhere around that 20 to 23 range, I think is a fair expectation for his play this season.
Well, think about it like this. You look at the graphic there, and he was sacked 55 times last season, tied for the most in the NFL. The bare minimum, I believe the Jets have a good offensive line. Can it be great? It could. If Membu takes a huge step, Olu takes a huge step, there's a scenario where the Jets have a top 5 offensive line in the league. But just for the sake of this conversation, let's say it's in the top 12, which I think is reasonable. That alone should help Geno immensely, assuming he just is not shot as a player. Like the arm doesn't go. Like sometimes quarterbacks just lose it, and Geno's going to be 36 in October. I don't think he's going to lose it. So I think there is a path where he's a competent quarterback and could be the 20th best NFL quarterback for the Jets this season.
Yeah, and like you said, that's a big upgrade. And the interceptions, it's always been a part of his game. Hopefully it's not 17. Hopefully maybe it's more like in that 10 to 12 range. But at least with Geno, he's not afraid to push the ball down the field a little bit. And I think that'll give us an opportunity to evaluate the playmakers on this team. Kenyon Sadiq as a rookie, and A.D. Mitchell year 2 with the Jets, and Mason Taylor year 2, and Omar Cooper as a rookie, and obviously Garrett as the main guy in this offense. I think my hope is that he gives us enough to see where this roster's at in terms of the skill position groups. And, that should bode well for the Jets as they decide what to do with the quarterback in 2027, and hopefully put a young quarterback in a really good position to have success.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Our first raffle entry comes from Omari Brown, who started this YouTube channel, folks. So make sure you guys go and subscribe to Omari, who is an outstanding content creator. Great dude. He was at our event down in AC. So a bunch of you Asmaniacs got a chance to meet Omari. He is in the Asmaniac raffle for one. Let's go. Big shout out to the Austrian Jet fan who gifted 5 channel memberships to get us rolling today. Hey now. If you hear your name called, the Austrian Jet fan made you a channel member. Alfredo RN for real, QB Prince, M Hammers, Jamie Egnar, and Simon Nizer all receiving a channel membership. Again, Garrett Wilson signed helmet is the raffle prize on our shows today. Matt O'Leary is my guest right now. Comments, questions, super chats, they always cut the line. How about this from Mandox, who says, slowly easing back into my football shows. It's almost time. Matt and I greatly appreciate you, Mandox, because it has been tough doing content every day since minicamp ended. Other than really like the Geno Smith, potential legal issues, there's been very little Jet news to actually cover.
Yeah, it's been one of the more quiet off seasons, and that's not always a bad thing from a fan perspective. But as two people who talk about this team every single day, it definitely was tough from minicamp onward. But I'm really excited for training camp. I think the training camp recaps are always some of my favorite content that we get to do here. And from the time training camp starts through pretty much the NFL draft, we're going 100 miles an hour the whole way. So I'm ready.
I mean, one of the big stories we got was the Jets, having a new helmet for the year. Did you like the white helmet look?
I do. I like it a lot. I think it looks really clean. And I'm excited to see it in week 2 at the home opener.
Hopefully they're 1-0 going into that game. The Talking Jets, a big meetup game, right?
A big meetup for the Talking Jets crew. We still got tickets on sale, so if you want to come out, talkingjets.com. But yeah, we're overdue for a win, Jake. We have not seen a win yet together as a group.
Oh God. Ladies and gentlemen, how about this? Our first 10 spot of the day. Can we have some membership explosions today? 10 from the Chuck Wagon, the man who made more money in Atlantic City than anyone ever.
And here we go. Let's go.
Matt, I don't know if you saw the Chuck Wagon in action at the event, but I mean, he was a loose cannon out there.
I'm sure I did. I got a chance to talk to a ton of people at the event. It was great. So I'm sure I ran into Chuck at some point.
I mean, he was walking around with the blackjack card, laminated, sitting down at the table like he was Andy Reid dialing up a play.
Gotta love it. That's fantastic.
Chuck Wagon, you're the man, and you're also in the Asmaniac raffle for 10 entries. Swamp Ranger, not very clever. It's just way free at last. Eric Thurman, Falafel Kato, Adam Choit, Arari Chum, REDH7, and Barry Serpa, all receiving a gifted membership there from the great Chuck Wagon.
Get up. Let's go.
I also want to mention this. The Azzy Awards get started during this very show. Our first category for you to vote on in the chat if you're watching live is the Top International Caller Award. And without further ado, let's reveal the nominees before we open up poll voting for the first of about 22 Azzy Awards that we'll vote on over the next couple of weeks here on the show. Jason in Jerusalem, Australian Jets fan, Craig from Australia, and Daniel Beware. Those are your nominees for the Top International Caller, our first Azzy Award that is up for grabs on the show. And without further ado, it's time to vote, people. Let's go.
Cast your vote for the best. It's time for the Azzy Awards. It's time for the Azzy Awards. Cast your vote for the best. It's time for the Azzy Awards.
Vote, vote, vote. Same rules as Asmaniac Madness. Vote in the YouTube poll. And if you knuckleheads are going to make a bunch of accounts because you care about this so much, God bless you. It is the Azzy Awards. And voting is officially underway. Also, Matt, I have to tell you a crazy story. So last night I'm coming home from dinner and I'm taking the subway and I get a DM, and I don't usually see DMs this quickly because it goes to like a separate folder on Instagram, but I got an Instagram DM from listener Harry Reams who goes, "What's up, Jake? Just seen you board my W train. I'm operating in the front. Just want to say what's up from one Jet fan to another." So I go, "No way. I'm getting off at 57th Street, which at the time was the next stop on the train." And he goes, "Listen to the PA." So as I'm getting off, he gives me a shout out on the train. And then I turned to my right, and this was Harry Reams. He's waving. He's waving from the front of the subway.
Oh, man, Jet fans are the best. That's so awesome when something like that happens, especially out of context. Like when we go to a Jet game, we're out to a sporting event, like you kind of expect something like that to happen. But how about that on the commute back? You get a little wave from our guy Harry. That's fantastic.
Shout out to you, Harry. That is awesome. I couldn't believe it. And I started laughing when he shouted me out in the PA system, and like a bunch of strangers were like, what is this guy laughing at? And I'm like, that's incredible. But we got Asmaniacs everywhere. This fan base is the best. So shout out to Reams for the love and support yesterday on the subway of all places. Hit the like button, comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. We're going to hit some of your calls as well. Make sure you vote in our first ever Azzy Awards. Today's Jake Asman show is in fact presented by PrizePicks. Now they have a new deal for any new customer. Click my link in the description. Download that PrizePicks app. Play your first $5 and get $150 in lineups if you win. So try and find the easiest prize pick lineup you could put together and turn $5 into $150. It is that easy. We've been talking Geno Smith in this episode. Just look at the numbers they have projected for Geno on PrizePicks, especially the touchdown pass number. If Geno Smith is healthy and he plays at least, let's say, 10 games, 12 games at the most, there's no reason why he can't have 14 and a half passing touchdowns, aka 15 plus. Like, again, unless he gets catastrophically injured here, I don't see how Geno Smith doesn't surpass both these numbers.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement with you. I think both are pretty low. He had a bad year last year and went over both of these numbers. So, I think 12 is the number. I think if he gets to 12 games, he should be able to go over both 2,600 and 14 and a half. So I'm with you on that. I like that. I think he's going to be the starter. I really don't see a world where they turn it over to Cade Klubnik or someone else. I think, they'll be competitive enough so where they're riding it out with Geno. So Man, I like both of those plays. I really do.
Hit the like button if you're joining us. Subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to Matt's channel if you haven't already. Also, 1 week from tomorrow, I cannot believe just how quickly things are going to pick up here. The Chef Kevin meetup at the Cloverleaf Tavern is going down, baby. The first ever chef-off between Chef Kev and Chef Brian will be taking place. We're going to be there after the Jets practice in the morning. Practice is around 8 or 8:30. Last year we did this, and we didn't realize how short the practice was going to be. And I think this one will be pretty short as well because it's very early on in training camp. It will be either the third or at the worst fourth practice the Jets will have this summer. So we will be at Cloverleaf Tavern after practice around 11:30. If you can't make it to practice and just want to come for the meetup, that's totally fine. We'll have some giveaways. There'll be some free food and drinks for people. You could order off the exclusive As Maniac theme menu that Chef is putting together for everyone. So free event, just RSVP if you're coming. We have about 50 people so far who plan to be at the Cloverleaf Tavern 1 week from tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to that. And Matt, I'm going to work on getting you a training camp ticket so you hopefully could join all of us next week.
Yeah, please do. If anyone has an extra ticket, I would love to go. So send it my way. Maybe we'll do a little training camp recap video live from the event. That could be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And that goes for any of the training camp practices for Jet fans. I know a bunch of people have reached out. I've been able to give away a couple so far, but the Jets, it's a lot harder to get tickets this year because there's just less inventory. But if any Asmaniac has extra tickets for any of the camp practices, but especially next Saturday, please reach out and I will make sure we distribute them to Jet fans who can definitely use them and hopefully attend the event at Chef Kevin's restaurant, Cloverleaf Tavern, right after. Matt, which rookie are you the most excited to see in training camp this summer?
Oh, that's a really tough question. I'm excited to see a lot, but honestly, I'm gonna go, I think, with what I think is the chalk, but I'm gonna say David Bailey just because, number 2 pick. And I think he's kind of had a really quiet run here. I can't really remember the last time a number 2 overall pick had this little amount of hype. There's so much hype around, Kenyon Sadiq and Omar Cooper and D'Angelo Pons, I think is going to be a fan favorite. But earlier in camp, before the pads go on, it's kind of hard to tell for these offensive linemen and defensive linemen in the trenches. But I'm really excited to watch him get to work and hopefully get a little flash of him going against Olu Fashanu and Armand Membu. I think pretty tough matchup for a young player, but a really good test to see, how he's going to be able to impact the field in year one.
Isn't it crazy how little discussion there is surrounding David Bailey?
Yeah, that's what I was just saying, man. Like,
yeah.
I don't get it. Like, again, highest defensive draft pick in New York Jets history, and almost no one is talking about him. It's nuts.
Right. He could be a huge difference maker for the Jets this year. Like, if he's really, really good right away, it changes everything for the Jets. Because I feel like you look at their defense, and I feel like their floor has been raised by adding pros like Minka and DeMario and Glenn. No matter how you feel about him as a head coach, he's a better DC than Steve Wilkes is. Like, I think their floor has been raised. I think they have some solid players. David Bailey could be a superstar. I mean, that's what you're drafting him to be at number 2. So imagine if he's really good right away. He has the type of impact that Sauce Gardner had his rookie year.
Yeah, I mean, Sauce first team All-Pro in year 1. And, like, you could tell from that Ravens game right out of the gate, like, this kid's really good. And you could tell in training camp, too. He had a great training camp in his rookie season. So hoping to see the same thing from David Bailey because, like you said, the defense drastically needs to improve. And if he comes out of the gate and has a ton of pressures and is racking up some sacks, that really goes a long way to the Jets defense improving.
And remember, part of the argument we heard for why the Jets wanted to pick Bailey is because he's the most ready pass rusher right away. You're not projecting like you would have been if you moved Arvell Reese to edge and he's learning that position. So David Bailey being picked number 2, the rap on him is that he's going to be ready to roll. He's the most polished pass rusher in the draft. Well, let's see some production right away. He might not be great against the run right away. Okay, fine. But this guy's got to be an impactful player from day one for the Jets.
No, exactly. He has to have an impact. I don't think anyone's saying he has to be a complete player in year 1. Obviously, room for improvement. And, edge is a tough position. It usually takes a couple of years. Same thing with tight end. I know we've been a little spoiled with some of the bigger name tight ends who've come out in recent history that have put up big yardage. But those are a couple position groups where it usually takes a little bit for guys to get up to speed. But, as a number 2 pick, like we're saying here, he's got to have definitely an impact in the pass rush game. That's his bread and butter. And hopefully, as the years go on, he continues to develop as a run stopper too.
I've heard people compare David Bailey to Brian Burns, who's now on the Giants. So I went and looked and said, okay, well, what did Burns do as a rookie? And in 16 games with the Carolina Panthers, he had 7.5 sacks and 16 quarterback hits. I don't think that's unreasonable for David Bailey to do something similar.
No, not at all. I think, and I would sign up for that year. I'd be really happy if that's his year one, right? If he comes out round numbers, but somewhere between 6 and 8 sacks, let's say, and his pressure numbers are good, and he's improving and playing, I don't know, a little over 50% of snaps. I think that would be enough for me in year one to be excited about his future development.
Hit the like button if you're joining us. Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. Matt O'Leary hanging out with us here. Let me give some love to the Candyman, who's in the raffle for 2. Candyman with the super chat says, me and my daughter are coming to Nashville. Yee-haw. Hey now.
I hug him every day. I hug him every day.
Looking forward to giving you a Woody Johnson-esque hug, I should say, Candyman. Shout out to you and your daughter. Looking forward to seeing you and all the Asmaniacs who are making the trip to Nashville. Again, folks, Nashville week 1. That's the Jets Super Bowl is how I'm looking at it. We need to win that football game no matter what. If you're coming, make sure you RSVP so you can come to our Nashville Gangrene pre-party at Barstool Nashville for free. No cover if you RSVP. We got like 300-something people I know that are going to be there already, which is insane. So if you're coming out, make sure you RSVP. The link to do so is in the description. We'll be doing a live show from there. It's going to be a ton of fun, so I can't wait. All right, Matt, you ready for some calls here?
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, it's fitting that our ASI Award category is the Top International Caller Award. And on the line right now is a guy who now is an international caller. It's Doug on the bed, down under in Australia. Hello, Doug.
Do I not get pigeonholed into that ASI Award? No, I'm kidding.
You weren't eligible, unfortunately. You didn't serve enough time down under yet.
Totally fair. Totally fair. Now, call me crazy, but what if the Jets just went last to first? Like, there's a couple teams who do it every year. And what if it was the Jets this year?
I feel like we say that every year, but sure.
Hey, they're due for
well, technically, 2 years ago, it was the Patriots who went last to first this past season. And I think the Bears, so we couldn't have gone last to first. Sometimes we've been at third, not fourth. So how can we go to last to first?
Fair point.
Well,
this year,
if the Jets win more games than the teams they're playing more frequently than the other teams in their division, Doug, that's how they could go from last to first.
And I think, so like, why not us? It could happen.
Make the argument.
But why not?
Well, is your argument just why not?
Yeah, why not?
You on drugs down under, Doug?
No. I was sick, so I had to take medicine and stuff. But nothing crazy. But
you having too much kangaroos down there? What's wrong with you?
No, I do get a lot of people saying, "Where's your accent from?" Which again, really weird to be on the other side of. I've been told I have a very American accent. It's like, well, you guys all have a very Australian accent. So,
I would take that as a compliment.
I did. Someone called me Canadian once, though, and I was deeply hurt and offended. And I was like, "Ew, get away!" No, I'm American. But no. But I'm trying to be positive because I'm gonna have to wake up so early to watch these games, and if I'm going to it with a negative attitude, like, how is it any different? Just now I'm up at 3 a.m. instead of 1 p.m. in the afternoon. So.
Ryan says Doug looks like he's hiding in Beast Attic.
No, it's just almost 1 a.m, so I'm gonna go to bed after I'm done with this call. But see, like,
so it's a Friday night in Australia. You were out and about. What did you get yourself into, Douglas?
Today, not much because, like I said, I was just sick, so I was just getting over getting sick. But I'm gonna go out and explore tomorrow night, see what's going on. It's in the 50s right now. It's their winter, so it's cold. But so I don't know. Coffee over here is excellent. Excellent coffee. Excellent.
Do they drug it?
I don't know. I got Australian Jet fan is probably better to ask these questions since he's from here. I'm new.
Nate's offended by your comment about oohing being a Canadian. He says, what is ew about being Canadian?
You're not good at hockey.
Shots fired.
So, but yeah, no, I have no problem with Canadians, but why would you want to be Canadian when you can be American? Is the point. I'm just trying to be positive about this year. I like that we had a quiet off season, so maybe we could go last to first. Maybe it could happen. Something eventually. The good has to go the Jets' way. It can't be like this. I mean, it could be like this forever, but can it really be like this forever that it never gets good for us?
I see light at the end of the tunnel. I just don't think it's necessarily this year.
I'm with you.
It happened for the Knicks. If it happened for the Knicks, it can happen for the Jets, right?
Agreed. But how did the Knicks turn it around? What was the first step?
Getting the right guy in charge. And you can argue they have Darren Muji or
Okay.
getting a player too.
So they might have one out of two because I like Muji. So if we're saying Muji's Leon Rose, what was Leon Rose's first move as Knick executive?
Getting Jalen Brunson. So you need the Jalen Brunson.
No. Jalen Brunson was not till he was in year 3 with the Knicks. The first move that Leon Rose made was he hired a proven head coach that helped resurrect the franchise in Tom Thibodeau.
Yes, which I have been on the theory since January that this is Aaron Glenn's not going to be the guy, and then they're going to go hire Kevin O'Connell.
So if you believe that, then how would the Jets go from worst to first?
Whoa. I think that's what will happen. I'm saying it could happen going first. As I said, why not us?
Anything could happen. I mean, yeah. I could have a threesome tonight with Cindy Sweeney and Kylie Jenner.
I would be happy to be wrong about what I think's going to happen. If you ask me today, is Aaron Glenn the guy? I don't think so, but I would love to be wrong. I think all of us would love to be wrong about that because I think we're all in the same boat where we don't think he's the guy, but we would all love to be wrong and see the Jets somehow be obviously making the playoffs would be the dream, but maybe have a winning record, that would be cool, or play meaningful games in December and January. I know these are hard things to ask as a Jets fan, but I think we earned it, think of the people like Connor Long who have never seen the Jets in a playoff game. And I saw on Twitter highlights of the Jets Chargers playoff game from 09-10 season. I just yearn for a playoff game. Yearn for it.
I yearn for a season that's not dead on Halloween. Be relevant going into the holidays this year.
But it was so much fun watching playoff. I can't remember I watched playoff football, but it's so much fun watching playoff football with your team in it and having a vested interest. It's so much better. And there's so many Jets fans who don't know what that's like, and I feel so sorry for them. It just I would kill to have an experience like the 2010 season.
I'd kill to see the team have an interception. Can we start with baby steps here?
Well, we all know it's going to happen in the first quarter, in the first half of the first quarter.
Do we?
I think so. I think it will be the most
Jets thing. Based on what?
Because that would just be you don't get one all of last year and then you get one right away in the first game in the first quarter. I think would be very Jets.
I hope you're right. I'm concerned about you, Doug. Your takes have been horrific since you went down under.
Well, it's the Robitussin talking.
Yeah. You know what? I think some of my takes. Well, I think the truth one. We all don't think Aaron Glenn the guy, and I do think it's likely that Kevin O'Connell is going to end up as the coach of the New York Jets.
Well, the Vikings would have to be mediocre again or bad for that to happen. Or you'd have to demand he's not coaching anymore, and then the Jets would have to trade for O'Connell, which I would do. By the way, but
I think they might be okay. I think if they miss the playoffs, which I think is going to happen, they'll fire him.
They could. They seem like it's a little messy there with ownership and how everything went down with the GM being fired after the draft and everything. So it's possible.
And now that they have a new GM, do we know if the GM and Kevin O'Connell will get along? It just seems like a mess over there. But yeah, again, I'd much rather be wrong. Aaron Glenn be the guy, and the Jets, are good. I would like to see my football team be good. And then I will leave you with what do you think? Do you think the Yankees end up doing anything? I saw your interview with Don and Peter from the other day, but do you think the Yankees end up actually doing anything?
Yeah, I mean, they always do something. My point is, I think this needs to be the year they go the extra mile. Not just one catcher and a reliever and call it a day. It's two offensive players, one of them being a catcher. And, if the right opportunity presents itself and you really want to go all in for like Mason Miller, who's under control, and your Bednar's a free, like this should be the year they're as aggressive as possible because the American League stinks. There's 4 teams with a winning record in the league, despite how poor the Yankees played for, basically a month and how bad the offense has been without Judge. When you have a rotation of Schlittler, Fried, and Cole, you got to go for it, man, especially with how good their bullpen's been.
And then, like I said, with the AL so bad, you can get through the AL. And then the
take your chance. Yeah.
It's probably going to be the Dodgers again. But as we saw this last week against the Dodgers, the pitching can hold up against the Dodgers. You just need to find some semblance of offense. And by that time in the postseason, you'd have Judge back. I think, I agree with you. And especially with all the unknown of next year, you got to go all in.
What time does a Yankee game start in Australia for you?
The 7 p.m. games start at 9 a.m.
Interesting.
That's actually manageable. You can watch it at work.
Yeah, baseball I've been able to watch because like the 6:40 games starting at around 8 o'clock. So I've been able to watch baseball. Obviously, and then hockey. When the hockey season starts, I'll be able to watch hockey. Football is the one that's the real
a tough one.
Suck because of the time difference with 1 p.m. And again, then we have a couple 4 p.m. games, but still,
hang in
there. Maybe we'll get flexed. Because that's the first. Last the first, and we'll get flexed, and we'll have a Sunday night game, and then that way I don't have to be up at 3 a.m. to watch football. But we're not going to get flexed. I ain't been a fan of this team for too long. But yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, here's the drop for Doug because this is what's happened to him since he went down under.
The Jet fans getting a little crazy.
Getting a little crazy down there, Douglas.
Electric call from our guy Doug. That
love Doug. Doug only calls me though when you're on, Matt. So I love it.
Yeah, Doug. He's a regular on the Matt O'Leary and Connor Long pregame show. So I think he was missing that a little bit too much and had to check in.
He's a Matt O'Leary Sika fan.
Yeah, there's a few. Doug's very high up on the list there.
Oh man. Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. Al Gonzalez says, "What happens if Klubnik goes in for an injured Geno early and excels? Does it change drafting a first round?" Unproven college QB in 27. I mean, if he excels, it changes everything. I mean, look at Dak Prescott with the Cowboys. Look at Kirk Cousins with the then Redskins. Like, yeah, if Brock Purdy. If Klubnik excels, to use your term there, Al, of course it changes everything. That's like the dream scenario. He's amazing, and then you have 3 ones. You don't need to trade. You don't need to use any on a quarterback. You could even trade back and recoup assets, get another one next year. Like, it changes the entire trajectory of the Jet franchise if Klubnik actually in this scenario came in for Geno the same way Brady came in for Bledsoe and changes history.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be unbelievable. I'm rooting for that to happen, obviously. I think if he comes into play, what you want to happen is for there to be a definitive answer. Yes, he is the guy. No, he isn't the guy. What would suck is if it's somewhere in the middle and we're debating all, January through April. Should they build around Cade Klubnik or should they try to get a quarterback in the draft? And that mushy middle is where things get a little bit difficult, I think.
And if they're not sure, you're going to lean with drafting a quarterback because it's too important and just figure it out. Have them compete and then trade whichever one is not good enough to be your starter. But again, this is like the dream scenario here, which is why it's not going to happen. I'm laughing at this comment from Dana, who says, "What happens if it rains money?" Like, what are we even talking about here?
It could. Hey, sure. Why not?
Oh, man. Let me give some love to John J. Williams, always supporting the show. He's the only one that uses Zelle to enter the raffle, which I appreciate. So, John, thanks for the coffee money later. You are in the Asmaniac raffle for 2. Let's go.
They wrote me off. I ain't right back, though.
Garrett Wilson sign helmet up for grabs. Today's the last day you can enter for the weekly raffle tomorrow on the show. So, hopefully we get a bunch of entries. It's Friday. Hopefully a bunch of you got paid today. Weekends here. Training camp next week. It's all happening, Jet fans. Aaron's in the raffle for 2. Thank you, Aaron. What is something different you're looking to see from Glenn this training camp compared to last year? I don't want to hear we have great practices. That would sound like 0-17. Shake my head. Football is here, baby. What a super chat. I don't know there's anything I could see from Glenn that's going to really dramatically change my feeling on things. I thought he ran a good training camp last year. I thought it was the right message to practice tackling more and more physicality and all that. And I liked what we heard from the coach. We thought confident. Turns out he was overconfident. Like when he was taking the shots at Salah's staff, and it's coaching, man. It's coaching. Like, okay, we don't care how you are with the media if you back it up. Rex would talk crap, he'd back it up. And it's when the Jets started to lose, then it became a problem. So, like, nothing Glenn says or really the Jets do, I think is going to like dramatically change my feeling on this head coach. The only thing that will change is if they win games and he does what he's supposed to do, what he said he would do, to turn the Jets around.
Yeah, there's really nothing that he can do in training camp that was going to massively change our opinions. It really starts in week 1. And if he comes out and if they beat Robert Saleh and the Tennessee Titans and they start 1-0 and you're going back home, your home opener feeling good, I think that's his best route to doing it. And unfortunately, if it doesn't go that way and you lose on the road in week 1 to Robert Saleh and you get into the here we go, well, he's got to be able to snap out of that, because if this season goes off the rails early like it did last year, I just don't think there's enough for him to recover from it.
Oh, that would be so brutal if they lose week 1 and it snowballs again and we're doing mock drafts in October.
Yeah, and look, and I get it. It would be exciting because they're looking for a quarterback, and there's supposed to be a bunch at the top of the draft. And like, yes, we can have some fun with that, but man, like, I'm just hoping for a season. I don't want to have to open up mock draft Monday by Halloween. Hopefully, we can get a little bit deeper into the season before we get there.
1,000% agreed. Jets wide says, is Brees Hall about to have the best year ever? Matt, do you have any plans tonight?
I'll be on with these fellas later on tonight. Me and my pal Jets Chaos, aka Jeremy, will be on with a Jets Worldwide crew later. It's going to be a lot of fun. And as far as it goes with Brees Hall, I'm really optimistic about Brees this year. I think both him and Garrett Wilson are set up to where if Geno is just semi-functional this year, like we talked about earlier, around the 20th best quarterback, then I think there's a route for both those guys to have their best statistical season that they've had so far.
God, I feel like Brees Hall is so capable of having like, I don't want to say he's McCaffrey, but he can have a season where like he's used in a similar role. And I just hope Frank Reich is the guy that could tap into all of what we know Brees could do. I mean, I think it's fair to say it won't take Frank Reich till like week 8 to learn that Brees Hall could catch passes out of the backfield like it did Nate Hackett.
I don't know. Like, there's been a very few things that have gotten me as mad as that has gotten me, because that is something that every single Jets fan could have told you. Like, anyone could have figured that out. And then he absolutely goes off against the Giants. It's midway through the season, and you have Nathaniel Hackett up there going, "Oh, I didn't realize he could catch like that and be a factor out of the backfield." It's like, what are we doing here? How is this even possible?
Look at this super chat from Doug and down under in Australia here. It's the Australian currency. We see it, Doug. Doug, if you win and you make me ship to Australia for a raffle, I'll do it with love, because God, do you need it after that last call. Jets last to first, guys. We'll have a meaningful games by Halloween, and the Yankees and Quinnipiac hockey won't be my only teams worth a damn. I hope you're right, Doug. I'd love for the Jets to win the AFC East for the first time since 2002. I know Matt agrees with that as well.
100%.
Football guy writes in, Jake, love the show. For fantasy, I want to draft Brees, but I have a bad feeling about him getting touches with the pieces we got this offseason. There's still going to be a run-oriented offense, though, football guy. And again, this is what we were just talking about with Brees being used as a receiver. He's going to get his touches. They didn't pay Brees Hall to not use him all over their offense.
Yeah, I agree with that. I also don't really think we're going to see a ton of Braylon Allen or Isaiah Davis merching, touches away from him. I know you continue to get the Aaron Glenn, it's going to be a running back by committee thing. I don't buy it. I think it's going to be heavy usage for Brees Hall, so that wouldn't worry me.
Make sure you vote in the Azzy Awards. Right now, polls are open for the first of many Azzy Awards that we will award on the show over the next couple of weeks. Our first category is the Top International Caller Award. Quick update on polling. Australian Jets fan is leading with 36% of the vote. Craig from Australia at 30%. Jason in Jerusalem, 27%. Daniel Beware, 7%. Let's hit a couple more calls with Matt before we say goodbye to him. Let's say hello to Jagro, who's up next. Hello, Jagro.
Hey, good to see you. I was really excited that I actually get to call in and see you live. I'm someone who, I think I've told you this before, who is at work most of the time that you're live, and I have summer hours, so I'm off on Friday, so it's just great to be able to call in. Excited to talk to both of you. Had a great time down in Atlantic City. I got to tell you, you throw a heck of a party. I brought the missus along with me, and she was a trooper. She stuck it out in the rain, and
She had a good time.
Oh my God! Not only did she have a blast, but we're going to your next 2 events. So there you go.
I love it. That's awesome. Thank you for coming for me. That's great.
Oh, of course. The bar is pretty high. The last, she's going to the Dolphins game too. The last Jets game she was at, you got a minute for a story because this was a crazy one.
Yeah.
All the way back, 1996, and you can look this up. Middle of the third quarter against the Colts, the Jets had a lightning delay at MetLife Stadium. The game was stopped about halfway through the third quarter, which is coincidentally also when they stopped serving beer. We walk out, to get some cover because it's raining, and I think the statute of limitations is up. I can talk about this, right? 30 years ago. There's an abandoned post where they were serving beer and the keg is still tapped. Someone had the brilliant idea and just walked back there and just started serving beers to people. Not only did everyone in the section end up with beer, but the keg, there was another keg that wasn't tapped, and someone tapped the keg, and the Jets ended up losing the game. I mean, shock and surprise, right? 96 that they lost the game.
Well, they lost 15 of them that year, so that would make sense.
Yeah, that entire section had quite the blast. I mean, there was probably a keg and a half of free beer that people enjoyed. Again, I had nothing to do with this, right? Whether the statute of limitations are up or not, but an amazing time was had by all. So the bar is pretty high. I mean, I think we'll settle for a Jets win and just some fun with the Asmaniacs. But that was an experience that'll never be replicated and soon definitely not forgotten.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And as big as your reach is, I guarantee you someone will, if someone's listening, someone probably was in that section. Someone can probably validate that story. But I Scout's honor, that's how it went down.
Luppy says, I was there. Me and my brother got beer.
Oh my, there you go. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. But yeah, that was an amazing time. And really looking forward to the next couple of events. As far as the Jets season goes, I am cautiously optimistic. I've been telling people, tongue in cheek, if you weren't there at 3-14, don't be there at 4-13. But I really think that we have a chance of being pretty good this year. Somewhere around, again, I know with the 17-game schedule, you can't be 500, but somewhere between 7 wins, 9 wins if things break well. My idea of what a great season looks like is that our offense looks so potent that people are talking about Frank Reich for head coaching jobs next year, and the quarterback play, is so amazing that Seth Ryan becomes our offensive coordinator. Like that to me would be a great year if our offense is so potent because we have so many weapons. And again, Geno's the wild card. Are we getting the Geno that we had with the Raiders or the Geno that we had with Seattle? I think the truth lies somewhere in between. And I think 25 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, something like that. I think we would all sign up for that in a heartbeat. And I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility with the offensive weapons we have.
Again, I feel better about the offense than I do the defense, Jay Gross. So
me too.
I hope you're right. And great seeing you in AC. It was awesome. Nice to meet your wife. So I'm glad you're coming to some upcoming events. We'll have a great time at them.
All right. Thanks, gentlemen. You both do a wonderful job. And for someone who does not live in the market, and I've said this before, but I'll say it again so that Matt can hear it. What you guys do means so much because I'm an old fart, I'm in my mid 50s. I remember, I've lived in, South Jersey for quite some time now. I mean, the only Jets coverage I would get back in the day would be like listening to the fan through static with moving an antenna to try and get some AM radio and hope that maybe they talk about the Jets. So compared to being able to get Jets content whenever I want it and high quality Jets content, my God, you guys are amazing.
You're the best, Jay Grow. That's awesome. That's what it's all about right there.
Love it. Thank you so much, Jay Grow. That was awesome.
One of these days, we'll have a winning team that is representative of how special the Jet fan base is.
Yeah, I mean, I say it all the time, but we're so due as Jet fans. And, as for content, like we haven't covered a winning team yet, any of us. So, man, that's going to be so much fun when it finally happens.
Ladies and gentlemen, some super chats here. M123 says, need QB hopium. Tell me, if we behind the Cards, Browns, we're still getting amazing quarterbacks in 27. Matt Rocks, M. Villette, best Geno truther ever, LFG. Well, I mean, we just need to see how many quarterbacks emerge as first-round options next year. I mean, if the Jets are picking behind the Cards and the Browns, that doesn't mean they couldn't still get a quarterback. They could trade in front of those teams potentially. We need to know where they're picking. There could be 5 first-round quarterbacks like it was a couple of years ago. I mean, we see this every few years. There's a quarterback class where it's like 4 or 5 guys go in that first round. Last year, I think, was an extreme anomaly where you just had one consensus first-round guy was Mendoza and then no one else. I know Simpson went in the first round, but it's unique because he's not playing for a year or maybe 2. So I think this year will be different. I'm not saying it's going to be generational like some have already discussed, but I do think there'll be at least 3, if not 4, first-round options for the Jets.
Yeah, and look, like maybe in that scenario that's laid out here, you're not getting Arch Manning or whoever ends up being the number 1 guy, but in a let's call it 5 quarterback class, if you get the 3rd one, we've seen times where the 3rd quarterback, the 5th quarterback ends up being the best in the class. So you don't necessarily have to get the number 1 guy. You just have to get a guy, and that guy's got to be obviously your answer. And as we've discussed, we feel good about the offense. So I think you'd be putting this kid in a pretty good situation.
Doc checking in, the Doc Jet fan. NFL players taking a real stand on preferring grass turf. We're worth a campaign, especially after the World Cup. Any traction for grass at MetLife? Well, I saw an overhead shot of them destroying the grass at MetLife to put the turf back in. So it's not happening this year. They've already gotten rid of the grass the second the World Cup ended.
Yeah, they could not wait to tear up that grass, which is really unfortunate. I think most of the fan base and all the players have all been advocating for them to keep the grass, and maybe eventually they switch it, but I don't think that's happening anytime soon.
Yeah, I just think we've gone down this path a lot, and it seems like every time it's the same thing. We do not get turf on the MetLife Stadium grass, unfortunately. This super chat is from Dominic. We'll get back to your calls with Matt shortly before we let him run. Dom D'Angelo checking in. He says, did Aaron Glenn ever reveal what he needed to improve on as a head coach after his self-evaluation last year? It'd be great to hear his own criticism. He never specifically went into details on it, from what I recall.
Yeah, I don't necessarily remember any specific details for, I think for
everything.
Me, yeah, everything. But I was to give you one specific, I would say in-game management is the biggest for me.
I think that's huge. I think Tuesday to Saturday, getting the team ready to go. Tuesday to Saturday, how the team is prepared for the opponents they're playing. And a lot of that is the coaches he hired. He basically got to redo his entire staff minus Banjo and the special teams.
Yeah, no, that's true. He did have to completely tear it down and start over. And, you're hoping that this go around goes a lot better than the first one.
Ladies and gentlemen, Beastbreaker wrote in the following comment. Time to drop the bomb in the toilet, fire in the hole. So I want everyone to see that comment from Beast talking about how he has to go take a dump. And then I want you to now listen to this email that I was sent by Beast because he was upset of some of the categories that he was nominated for in the Azzy Awards. Okay, so I'm just going to show everyone what the nominees were. So Beast just wrote that comment, and he was nominated for Bag of Dicks, Bathtub from Hell, his war with the Postal Service, how he didn't watch any Jet games last year. So these were the nominees for greatest Beastbreaker moment. And now I'm going to play you what Beast emailed me, and you tell me if the committee was out of line with any of these nominations, because I don't think they were.
It's time once again for Jason Allen Storm to type an email to Jake and Gator to vent his frustrations.
I need to address a few things here. The Beastbreaker moment, this is embarrassing to the public, and what a shame. Where's all my football dives? That should be on there. But nope, you insist to rather insult my integrity with Bag of Dicks.
What in the hell is this?
Is that the first time your hand was on a bunch of dicks?
Oh, no.
USPS war.
Lazy, lackative. I want to speak to an agent now.
Not watching a Jets game. And bathtub trouble. This is insulting. And I feel insulted and humiliated. And the biggest meltdown award, I found that rather rather disgusting and insulting towards my intelligence. This is really low. It's like watching WCW 2000 on steroids, and that's not good. Not to my knowledge.
Matt, do you have any issue with Beast being nominated for these awards?
I think these are all fair nominations, and I think the bathtub one takes the cake. I will never forget where I was when we saw the picture of that bathtub. That's etched into my brain for the rest of my time on this planet.
It is a one-on-one moment. There's no doubt about that. More of your calls here before we say goodbye. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now on the Gustbuster Umbrella Hotline is this handsome devil.
Hi, everybody. This is Bob from Vermont. I am Bob, of course. Hey, Jake, and how you doing, Matt?
Hey,
I
Bob.
got next week. I get my go to Dr. Lacani for my foot, so we get the update then.
All right.
Next Friday.
Sounds
It
good.
wasn't this Friday. Yeah, I'm happy. Yeah, I think it's gonna be time to take that shoe off next week. So
How are the toes?
they're doing good. You have 9 toes. They're doing very good. He liked how it looked like last week before. He said it looks very good. He likes how it looks, so it might be next week. So, Jake, I want to go to that Jet game, and Michael does too. How many tickets left?
38 of the 70 have been allocated so far.
Okay, so we're gonna get it going. We're going. Me and Michael, we were talking. He wants to go, and me.
All right.
And Matt, are you going to that game?
Which one is this?
Jets Dolphins,
That is-
October 25th.
Yeah.
No, I do not intend to be in attendance for it. I'll be there
Oh,
week
I wish
2.
you were down there. Oh,
Week
I
2,
can't.
baby.
No, we too. No. And then I hope you guys have fun at the Tennessee game. That looks good. But I'm optimistic this year. I think the Jets will have a good season. I think they're going to the playoffs.
Why do you believe that, Bob?
Because, I think they have better players than last year. The defense looks a lot better than last year. They should have more, hopefully we get like an interception or, fumble. They got to get takeaways, definitely. And then the offense, like you said, looks better than the defense. So I agree with that point, too. Jake, you did good on the radio the other day. Remember when I called in?
I do remember when you called in.
Yeah, twice. You had remember you had Bart Scott. I called in.
Yeah, I think
And
you
then the
jinxed
other
Bart
one-
because then he ends up getting laid off as part of the ESPN cuts.
Bart Scott. No, they should have let their bald-headed guy go.
No, the bald-headed guy is still there. Bart is gone. I think you jinxed Bart.
That's
Maybe.
bullshit. No, really? No, that's bullshit.
Bob, I
Yeah.
swear to God, I think this call jinxed Bart Scott's fate with ESPN.
Bob in Vermont has been waiting a long time. Wants in on the Mets conversation from earlier. Hello, Bob.
Hey, Jake, how you doing?
Bobby.
And Bart Scott, how you doing? Jake is a great YouTube person, too. You guys make a good couple. You should get rid of the bald-headed guy.
Oh, man, Bob, you can't be coming over here firing people, Bob. We don't do that, man. Can't do that. Jake got his own thing going on his hand.
Come on.
And Carlin's my guy, man. You can't be trying to see, that's what they try to do. They try to put a wedge in between you and stir up stuff, man.
He was on hold for 2.5 hours to say that Chris Carlin should be removed from the show the way Mendoza was removed from the Mets dugout.
Can make with the yuck and the dance, you little monkey clown.
Tough.
It's your fault, Bob.
Well, he's a monkey clown anyway. He gave you a hard time one time when you were on the show. Remember that? He put you down. That bullheaded. Remember that? And what about the other one? The other call they called in with Ty. That
Yeah,
was
you called
pretty
in when I did a show with Ty last week as well.
Yeah, Ty was good, right? Ty liked me or what?
Yeah, he was a big fan of your calls.
Yeah, I like him. He's a cool guy. He comes on your show too, right? Doesn't he come on sometimes?
Yeah, he's a big Jets fan.
Yeah. Jets, and I like the Giants too. I like the Giants. I think they'll both go to the playoffs this year. I have faith in both teams. I do.
Well, Bob, I'm glad you made the call today. I think you froze.
It's frozen.
All right. Do we need to bring on a tech guy?
And Jesus
Bob?
Christ.
Hold on. Here's my tech guy.
Back.
Oh,
Beast,
look at
what's
this.
wrong with Bobby's connection?
Hey, did he take a shit yet? Did he take a poop yet? Did he take a poop?
Oh.
Okay,
Hey,
I'm almost finished with my call.
I had to. Mijo.
Okay.
Mijo. Control. Alt. Delete. Control,
Okay, I'm
Alt,
almost
delete.
finished with my call. Okay, I understand. Beast. You're cool.
Okay, thank you.
You're cool. Yeah, I just want to finish up with chicken.
I understand that.
Okay, I think you got to turn your YouTube down too.
I don't have it on.
Okay.
I have my fan on.
Oh, well, I'm
Circular
talking
fan
to
that
you.
I
I
paid
think you might.
$52 for.
Oh, good. That's good.
So how you been,
I
Nitro, bro?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm a Nitro, bro.
Are you getting a new pair of shoes yet? Or not yet?
Oh, no, I got the new shoes, but I got to get the left shoe off so I can put them both on. Yeah, Rick, and I'm trying to produce the show. I just want to talk to. Who has the accent? You have the accent. Turn on YouTube. You got the accent. Echo. You have the echo.
Hands off.
Hi, Ricky.
Hey, what's happening, Bobby?
Sabotage
How
brother.
you feeling? All right, I think I'm done with my call. Jake and Matt,
You have
you're
fun.
doing a
You
great
have fun,
job.
Bobby.
You too. You
Have
guys
fun.
have a good time. I'll see you later.
Well, you know, I need to find Matt O'Leary. He's supposed to come on my show. I want his butt on a stick.
Just an outstanding meeting of the minds there.
What a duo. Oh, my God. Love that.
Matt, you're the man. Continue success with your professor career, and looking forward to talking about actual football stuff next week.
Oh, we're almost there, buddy. Thanks again for having me. Talk soon.
Matt O'Leary with us. Go subscribe to his channel. Shout out to Omar Ochoa, who entered the raffle by gifting a membership. Make sure you guys enter today. The weekly is tomorrow. We need as many entries as we can. Today's prize is a big one. It's a Garrett Wilson signed helmet. So if you want in, gift the membership to your fellow Asmaniac or send in a super chat that qualifies. Al Gonzalez says, grass field, Maras don't want it, just like they blocked a dome because they think it gives them an advantage. It's known in the league. The Maras don't want it because they don't want to pay for it with the Jets. It's not about an advantage. Grass doesn't give the Jets an advantage. Turf doesn't give them an advantage. It's a money thing. It has nothing to do with advantages. Tom Ace, great comment. The butt on the stick era was one to behold. Yeah, remember Bobby had the big beef with Matt O'Leary. We've come a long way since then. All right, let's say hello to our next caller. We call him Echo McGee. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time.
Jeez, am I spotting him now?
How you doing, Sabotage, brother?
I'm doing good. How are you, Beast?
Just playing control and watching what I do with the weight.
Getting in a little morning workout, are you?
Yes. Stay focused. Like Miyagi, when Miyagi would say to Danielson,
Put your ring light on. We can't see you. Put your ring light on.
maybe I should parade in my underwear a little more often. Yeah, that feels good. Little light. Feel good. Ah, that feels good. Yeah. A man's man. The next Doogie Howser. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you look that name up. Look up that name, Doogie Howser. Used to watch that show. Same with Benson. Same with Maud. Yeah, a lot of good stuff. Everybody was Boy Grill. Oh, shit. Jesus Christ. Oh, my God. Wow. Son of a bitch. Wow. Another card.
He has kidney stones.
I know. Just give me a minute. Just camera.
It's not life-threatening.
Wow.
What a moment that was. Boy Green, kidney stones. Turned Beast into an emotional wreck. Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button if you're one of the 200 people watching live. God bless everyone who's watching this show. Also want to shout out all the Asmaniacs who contributed to the GoFundMe to help one of our great listeners, Alfonso Stackhouse, a.k.a. Stack, in the chat. For those who are just tuning in this week, Stack works with our military. His base was bombed this past weekend. Basically lost all his personal belongings, clothes, laptop, all that. So we're raising some money to help get him back on his feet. The GoFundMe is linked in the description for this show, and I'm posting it in the live chat. But as you can see there, we've raised in just a couple days almost $3,000 already, $2,700. So big thank you to everyone who has supported. The Asmaniacs always come through. So you guys are doing the right thing here. Outstanding. Also, Spencer Green, who I usually rag on, I'll give him some love here. He's being nice. Just want to say, you're built for radio. I've listened every day since you've been in for K. Killed it, man. Well, thank you, Spencer. That's nice of you. Still want you to call in, though, Spencer. The chat is demanding it. But I appreciate it. I'll be in for Michael Thursday and Friday, I believe, next week. So I'm looking forward to that. All right, let's get back to your calls. We just saw him in a cameo role with the Beast. Ladies and gentlemen, we head back to the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline. We're standing by is a man that we call Mr. Ricky New York.
I'm Ricky New York, and I love to smoke. Florida State, I really love Florida State. Jordan Travis, you know he's from Florida State. At any rate, I call into smoking debate. Florida State, I really love Florida State. At any rate, thanks for taking my call, Jake.
Hey, thanks for taking my call, Jake.
Hello, Ricky.
Good morning. There's there's only one thing I think that has to happen for Aaron Glenn to keep his job. Put me in charge. That's it. It's a done deal.
So what would you do?
You know what? I'm going to let this year play out. Personally, I think he'll be here beyond this year anyway, but I'm going to let this year play out. And I think we're going to take, a positive step this year in the right direction. I feel confident because, for one thing, this rebuild that we have just gone through is a complete rebuild, And granted, he did have to replace some of the coaches that he hired in the first place, but at least it looks anyway like he's learning from his mistakes. But as far as the roster goes, there is not a part of this team that hasn't been remade. And I know you can say like depth at linebacker, backup quarterback, like that. There are still some questions, but with the money and draft capital we have next year, all those holes can easily be filled, and we can actually have a complete team top to bottom. I like the direction it looks like we're going in. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but going to, as the season is approaching, like I was always saying, like, I think we get at least 7 wins. We could get 7 wins with Zach Wilson. We should be able to get 7 wins with this iteration of the Jets. That being said, I sat down with Matt O'Leary one day and we went through the schedule game by game, and we're picking the wins and losses. And we got to the end of it, and I was like, how many wins do you think that is? And he was like, I don't know. We weren't really keeping track of it as we did it. It ended up to be 9 wins, which is certainly more than, what I had thought. And there was one game that we were both kind of a little bit on the fence about. But, dude, if we go from what we had last year to, 7 or 8 wins, I think that his job is safe. And I would much rather have one of our guys leading this team as opposed to, we give up draft picks and a ton of money for some guy that only comes here because of the money, and he's not personally invested like that. So
what do we just hire a good coach, though? Who cares?
I think we already have. It remains to be seen, but I'm confident.
Well, if he wins 8 games, I think he's back, Ricky. But dream scenario, former Jet who wanted the job, turns it around. But I could give a what if they had to overpay to get a Tomlin or someone who's really good to take this job. That's the advantage you should have. You're the Jets. How did they get Bill Parcells? Like, think about that.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. That's a good point. And I mean, I don't know. We're going to see what happens, but I think it's a moot point because I do think he wins enough games to keep his job.
So you have them winning 8 games this year?
Yeah, you know what? I'll go with 8. I keep wanting to go to 7, but you know what? I'll go ahead and say 8. And,
so 8 and 9. And I believe you were at 10 last year, right?
I think I was. I'd have to go back and look, but I think I was at like 10 wins last year. Dude, I really think that, and this is going to sound crazy because I know, we've been talking about David Bailey and Kenyon Sadiq and Omar Cooper and all of our draft picks, but I really think that the free agents we brought in are going to be more of a bonus to us because when those starters come off the field, whether it's McDonald, whatever, having Osai and Enagbari there, like the drop off isn't going to be so severe. We aren't going to have the Michael Clements penalties. We aren't going to have, the kind of play that we got from those guys. And I think that, consistency throughout the duration of games is going to pay really, really big benefits. I like having Almanyata up front with Sweat. I think our run defense is going to be stellar this year. And I think that's going to lead to good things all the way around. I'm still curious to see our secondary. Who are the starting corners going to be? Who are the starting safeties going to be? That's my biggest thing with training camp. I want to see where they line guys up. I think that's going to answer a lot of questions. But Yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to this year. I do feel like it's going to be different. Like I said, it's a complete rebuild. It's not a partial rebuild, or you know, I just like the way that they've gone about things this offseason. So I'm looking forward to it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ricky and
Just don't let go of the rope.
Ricky will never let go of the rope. Ever. Hey, I posted the call-in link again. Make sure you vote in the poll for the Azzy Award. Top international callers, our first one. We'll have a second show later. Stick around to see what we'll be voting on for that. But if you want in on the show, last call to get in. And also, get your entries in for the Asmaniac raffle. Garrett Wilson signed helmet is what we have up for grabs today. In fact, we've had 16 memberships that have been gifted during the show. I'm going to make it 17 in 10 seconds. Here's what you need to do. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you have the setting turned on that you want to receive a gifted membership. Ladies and gentlemen, one channel membership is being gifted right now. Dun, dun, dun. If you hear your name called, you are, in fact, an Asmaniac channel member. It went to listener AD83. AD. Congratulations.
Coaching. It's coaching.
What do you mean?
Because he can do it. It's just coaching. That's all it is.
Will Will McDonald be coached properly? I think he will this year. Not by Aaron Glenn, because we saw how that worked out, but by Carl Dunbar, which was a good hire by Glenn. All right, back to your calls. There's one man that's on the line who's dying to get in on today's conversation.
Oh, shit. You son of a bitch. I just got a little gas. GFS AI model showing a significant cooldown the first week of August. That's fine. Doesn't look bad. Model signal only, not only official forecast. Very nice. Very nice. Except for all this red right here in Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Utah, and part of Colorado. That's fine. But this blue shaded here with all this up to all the way up to Vermont looks nice. That's good. And
What exactly are you doing?
I'm actually looking at this GFS AI model here.
Echo. Can you fix your mic?
Oh. And now another mic.
Check 1, 2. Why do I hear myself?
Testicles, testicles, uno, dos, tres. Testicles, testicles, uno, dos, tres.
Check 1, 2. There's an echo.
Testicles, testicles.
Stop saying testicles. Your mic is not even plugged in. That's not the issue. Since you've called the show, that mic has never been plugged in once.
James Hetfield, you say that all the time on the load tour. Even when he's like, okay, all right.
You're supposed to be the tech guy.
Hey!
And your tech stinks.
You know, it also stinks when I'm sitting on the toilet dropping bombs going.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
It's not what your country can do for you. It's what your country can do for you.
Close all your tabs.
My tabs are closed.
I don't believe you.
Well, you
Echo.
You only want to believe what you want to believe.
Oh, I'm believing the truth.
Right. And I'm the Pope. Yeah. You know who I'm talking about. Yeah, Pope John Paul II.
Beast, what are you doing differently that there's now an echo?
There is no echo.
There is. I hear myself back. Connor heard this yesterday.
Maybe your hearing is way off.
No. My hearing is perfect.
Yeah, that and the trip to Botswana actually does count, by the way, or Taiwan or Malaysia or Beijing or Jing Dong Day. Ciao.
Beast, we can't have you on the show anymore if this is going to be a problem.
You know what? You know what I smell? Hatred beyond hatred, stupidity beyond stupidity.
I smell tomfoolery.
You know what you smell? Little Caesars, the greasiest, shittiest pizza on the market.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, Beast, why is it when I talk, I hear myself echoing back? Did you do something to your camera? Did you do something to your computer settings?
Not at all. No, not at all.
Close the tabs. Your therapist is saying it's bad.
I have my tabs closed. I think it's called people need. You know what? Maybe a vacation actually will sound real nice, maybe, because lately my temper's been through the roof, and my doctors have already said my temper's a little too spicy because I deal with morons that are 10 times dumber than a bag of bricks. Except we've all learned to play with Legos before. Yes.
Yeah, you know, B, sometimes I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
LeBron James is signing with the Sixers just now. 2 years, $8 million deal with a player option, so a 1-year deal essentially. This just got interesting. I did not think LeBron was going to go to Philly. I thought he was going back to Cleveland. The Sixers have the talent to be right there with the Knicks. But you're relying on Embiid to be healthy. You're relying on that team to gel immediately. But you have LeBron in Philly now. So it's the Knicks and the Sixers clearly as the top two teams in the Eastern Conference, without a doubt. LeBron to Philly. This NBA season just got a heck of a lot more interesting from a Knicks perspective, that's for sure. Wow. Did not expect that. I really thought he'd go back to Cleveland. Because think about it. If it doesn't work in Philly, he's going to be vilified there. If it doesn't work in Cleveland, who cares? He's 41 years old. It's a farewell tour. But Philly has no built-up equity to LeBron. That's crazy. Wow. Did not expect that. LeBron to the Sixers. Wow. Ralphie in our raffle for 4. I'm still holding on to the rope, Jake. What do I let go? I've got rope burns. Put me in the raffle. Ralphie, you are in the Asmaniac raffle for 4 entries. Thank you.
And here we go. Let's go. Let's go.
Don't let go of that rope.
Just don't let go of the rope.
LeBron in Philly, man. I am surprised by that. I really thought it was Cleveland, or I guess Miami. It kind of felt like all the Philly noise kind of quieted down. LeBron tweeted, I thought I was done when the season ended. I wasn't ready to announce it, and I knew I needed some time to really decide, but I was pretty sure I played my last game. I was honest at that last press conference when I said I needed to look at myself and decide if I still love this game. I still truly love this game, and I have more to give. The last few weeks have been really special. I've never been able to have no clue what to do and take real time to just think. I've had an incredible few months with all the people I love trying to figure it all out. This is my last decision. I'm not going for money. I'm not going for family. What am I really playing for at this point? I still want to sacrifice. I still want to work. I still want to grind. I still want to compete to win and have a chance at the feeling of winning another championship. I believe I can help make the Sixers a championship team, and I'm excited to energize a new fan base and start this incredible journey one last time. Thank you, LA. Miami, I'll forever love, and Northeast Ohio will always be home. Wow. Look, if his decision truly was about trying to win a ring, I think he went to the team that gives him the best chance. Because in theory, the Sixers with Embiid healthy, they have a shot. But that's a big if. But LeBron, Jaylen Brown, Maxey, and Embiid, yeah, talent-wise, they're right there. But what made the Knicks is the chemistry. How they have figured out how to play together. It's a big if, but if it's about winning, going to the East gives them a better chance to win than dealing with the Spurs or OKC out West, unless he was going to join one of those teams. You could argue Cleveland would have given them the best of both worlds because in theory, that team Could get to a conference finals with him, Harden, and Donovan Mitchell and Jared Allen. But as a Knicks fan, I hoped he was going to go to the Warriors because just, leave him out of the conference, make it easier for the Knicks to get back. But whatever. Bring it on. Be nice to eliminate LeBron in the playoff series. World champs, baby. World champs. Addison says Maxey and Brown are going to be the primary ball handlers. You're asking Brown to be a shooter. I think he'll be more of a point forward for them. He'll take attention by being out there, and he'll be like the third option like he was when the Lakers were fully healthy with Luka and Reeves. I mean, LeBron's still an incredible player. He won a playoff series this year without those guys. How much they paying him? He's making very little money. What was the deal? 2 years, $8 million with a player option. So he's making $4 million basically. So the Sixers have Maxey, Brown, LeBron, Embiid. I didn't even mention Edgecombe. I mean, they're really good. Their starting five is going to be Maxey, Edgecombe, Brown, James, Embiid. That's a that is a team that unless you're a Sixer fan, people will despise. Because people already don't like LeBron. He's as polarizing as any all-time great athlete we've ever seen. People don't like Jaylen Brown. Embiid is a dirtbag. Maxey, I got respect for, but the other players I don't really like. Sean says, at least you have something to talk about on the cast. I'm not even in today, right? I wish this couldn't have broke yesterday or Wednesday or crazy. So LeBron was going to retire, and then he thought about what he wants at this stage of his life, and it's not a farewell tour. It's trying to win one last time. And they'll have a chance to win. I just don't trust Embiid to be healthy. Wow. Oh, Knicks in 5, baby. Knicks in 5. Hey, before we get out of here, we got to give some love to the big fella because I just saw this Venmo here. Ladies and gentlemen, the big fella just purchased himself not 1, not 2, not 3. Get what I'm doing there? Crazy. Crazy. Man, LeBron of the Sixers. Can't believe it. 1 week from tomorrow, Asmaniac Meetup, RSVP if you're coming to Chef Kevin's. I said this at the start of the show. We'll be live this Monday from the Marty Lyons Celebrity Golf Classic, raising money for Marty's foundation. Marty will join us on the show that morning. We'll have some other Jet legends on. So I'm looking forward to that. And one other announcement here. We're brought to you by Circa. Circasports.com. Get all the info on each of the 3 pro football betting contests. Plus, if you're going to join us in Vegas for contest weekend, all the info on that is on their website as well. Again, late August, our annual trip to Vegas. Can't freaking wait, man. Can't wait. Going to be so much fun. You guys are the best. Thanks for watching. We'll be live this afternoon with our second show. No radio for me today, which has been rare the last 2 weeks. But before we get out of here, we have to declare a winner of the Azzy Awards, our first category, our first winner. Voting has ended, and our winner for the Azzy of the top international caller is Australian Jet Fan with 40% of the vote. In second place with 30%, Jason in Jerusalem, third place with 25%, and Daniel Beware, fourth place with 5%. Congrats to our nominees, and of course, congrats to our first Azzy winner, Australian Jet Fan. You guys are the best. Thanks for watching. We will talk to you this afternoon. We'll raffle away the Garrett Wilson signed helmet. It could be yours. We'll find out who wins in the 4 p.m. hour today. You guys are the best. Go Jets. Hit it, Greeny.
I have enjoyed listening to your podcast during the season. I used to listen to a lot of politicals talk, on podcasts and stuff, and it has just become impossible. It's so depressing. It doesn't pass the time in a nice way. So I found your podcast, and I would listen to it a lot, and I really enjoyed it. And I agreed, candidly, I found myself agreeing with a lot of your perspectives last year. I was very down on the coach, and I know you got a lot of flack for that, but I thought you were absolutely right.
I mean, think about what you said, though. You used to listen to political talk stuff, but it was so depressing. You started listening to a podcast about the Jets, who haven't made the playoffs in 15 years, and that was somehow more uplifting.
That's just how depressing the state of things are. But the Jets, I don't know, for whatever reason, I was scrolling through. I actually just searched one day Jets podcasts, and I found yours, and I liked it. And so I probably listened to 3 days a week, and I really enjoyed it. And I hope that the conversation is a little more cheerful as this season gets going. With the Asmaniacs and all of that stuff that you guys have, and you're always, I don't even understand what the contesting is that you're doing, but there's something that one can obviously do to participate in the program that I'm not aware of how to do. Whatever it is you're saying to do, hit a line, come to a thing, whatever it is you can do to win something, I wouldn't know how to do it even if I could, and I can't because I'm driving the car while I'm listening anyway. But one way or another, I do enjoy the show, and I've heard you very mad, which I have supported greatly. I'm hoping to hear you a lot happier this year, and I'm hoping to be happier myself.
Hey, Asmaniacs, make sure to hit the like button and keep on supporting the Jake Asman Show.
That's right, Beast. If you don't subscribe to Jake Asman Show, the Jets will never win another game. Go Jets!